All right, so a couple weeks ago, I talked about this fountain, DIY fountain. I wasn't talking about like a fountain for your little goldfish pond. I was talking about like a large scale neighborhood size pond. And those fountains, because I wanted one for a while, they're pretty expensive. So usually between $1,000 and $5,000. I told you I'd show you a video. So I've had one for like 3 years that I made. It's worn out, need to be replaced. So I figured I'd show you it's gonna probably be a 2 or 3 part video to see how it all has to happen. But basically it's real simple. You get you a bucket, sump pump. You can buy a sump pump from Menards, Home Depot, wherever. Cheapest one, usually 50 to 70 bucks. So all in all, you can do this whole project for 100 bucks or less, minus any kind of lighting if you want to add lights. But basically it's pretty simple. You get a bucket. I already have the pipes and everything cut because, like I said, I already had one. But figure out what size you want for the length. Any sump pump, most of the time, is 1.5 inch pipe. That's what this is. I always go with the threaded ends. I'll show you after I get this done. But basically, I use that to hold it. Everything I have is already cut. And when I get this, we don't mess up the floor. Primer on here. We're going to glue this pipe to that bottom one once we push it through the bucket. So this is going to be the bottom. Slide that through. Slide that through. I'm going to push that down. Now the reason I added the coupler is because before I had it caulked, and over time it wants to loosen up, because what you're going to see is the way we get it to float. Now we got that one secured. This will be the top. Now, the one that we had dry fitted, we're going to prime this end. That set up for a second. So basically what you're going to have is you're going to have your 1.5 inch pipe. You got a coupler on each end just to kind of let it hold here for some movement. In case it does move, you don't have to worry about the silicone. It'll always hold on that coupler. But on this back side, you have your female coupled end. I always recommend a threaded end for the top, which I'll show you in a second. Now, my last one did not have a lid bottom. It was an open bottom, which over time it got waterlogged and started to sink and stuff like that. So that's why we're redoing this one. Making my rise at the top a little taller. Last time it was flush here, but because I added lights to mine, I want to get the water above the lights a little bit better. That way they stay a little drier, so I thought to add a little bit more of a rise. And basically this bucket is going to act as a bobber. You'll see how in a sec. But this end will screw on to the sump pump, and this end, what I've done is, I'll get a better view in a few minutes, but I make my own patterns and my own designs of how I want it to spray. So I probably see them sitting here. I have this one that I call my geyser. If you just shoot a straight jet straight up in the air, and then basically you just take these screw-on caps that screw on, and you come up with whatever patterns you want in the top of a thread-on cap. Then you take a drill bit. Sometimes you can use, like in this one here, we got a bigger hole in the middle, smaller holes in the sides, so you get a smaller stream, large stream in the middle. Kind of put them at an angle so they shoot out like this. But like this one has no middle, so it just is straight out the sides. And like this one here, whoops, my bad. This one here, I didn't use a drill bit, I used my multi-tool and put slits in it to give it more of like a misting spray. You know, just kind of being creative with your own little ways and how you want it to go. But now that we got this on here, the glue's had a little bit of time to set up, I will show you. We'll use this clamp to hold our bottom in place while we do this part. We're going to add some extra weight. I'm sure most of you know, but if you put styrofoam in water, it will float. So to get styrofoam into a bucket, we're going to use spray foam. Now, conveniently, over the last year, they've came out with a pond safe, great stuff for making grottos and stone stacking and everything else like that. But we're going to use it as our floating device for our bobber, which is going to hold our sump pump. I know it sounds silly, but it's going to work. You'll see. So I got enough room here to where I can slide my straw through, and you're just going to basically fill your bucket with foam. That's why I said it's going to be a couple part video, because I can't finish this and show you all tonight because of the fact of the greatest thing that we have to deal with called dry time. So when it's all done and it dries for 8 hours tonight, tomorrow we can come back to it. I'll probably paint it. I always paint mine black so when it's out in the water, you don't really see it. Bucket just floating out in the middle of your pond. Most of the ponds that they sell are black, so are the fountains. I know this video is a little seems unprepared. That's because I plan on doing this much earlier today, and you know, people stop by. Now I'm rushing through it, but I wanted to share it because I said I would, and I want to also get it done today because it's the weekend. You know, you don't get what you want to get done on the weekend, you gotta go right back to work. So it's my only time to get this done. So basically, you're just gonna fill the bucket with the great stuff, you know, 50% or so full. One can will do it. I can kind of see in there just enough to know that I need a little more here, need a little more there. I'm going to pull it out right now, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a shake, get some more aerosol. Like I said, the other one was just an open bottom, and I could probably dig it out of the garbage and show you, but it worked for these last 3 years. It just was starting to get waterlogged, and it wasn't floating out there as good as it should. And once I decided to add my lights to it, the lights kept going underwater, and it wasn't fun. So good thing is this pond and stone, great stuff, is fish and animals safe. Any of the toxins in the are captured to where if it gets in the water, it won't affect them. Because if you were to just spray regular great stuff in there, you'll see it releases like an oily residue. I've done it. And we don't want to kill the fish, you know. Had to buy those too. Been trying to grow them now for 4 years, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be the year where we start catching some good stuff. Shake it just one last time. There's still a decent amount in there. But being that this is black, you can see it's about up to here. I want to get it at least to here. 50%, the rest of it will fill with the swelling and the curing time of the void. There's a lot of downtime here. Stuff's about $9 a can. So like I was saying, you got your $75 sump pump, PVC pipe. Luckily, with everything that's going on with this crazy world, is still cheap. And you know, at this point, you're gonna need like a 5-foot stick to make whatever size you want, 1.5 inches. A couple couplers were like 59 cents each. Your caps, basically all the pieces you're gonna need are like 50 cents a piece. And then the lights I bought for mine are solar powered, and they were about $40. So that puts you over that $100 thing. That's why I said if you had lights, you might spend a little more, but you're gonna get at least $1,000 quality for $100. I'm gonna guarantee you that. Spray paint, what's that? $5. Now, one thing I did do, which as you build stuff DIY, you always learn a little bit from each time you do it. So the first one I did, the biggest struggle I had was getting it out in the water far enough because of the 25-foot power cord. So I bought a submersible waterproof splice, and we added onto that cord, and now we're well over 50, about 60 foot. And then I tie the other end off with a rope and take it to the other side of the pond. anchor it down, plug it in, and have all your fun with that. But it's definitely huge help for me. Not only does it help the water, it helps get rid of the annoying geese. I hate the geese here. They bring in a lot of diseases for your water. If you end up with the blue algae, you know, you ruin your water and your fish will die, and you try to get rid of them. But I'm a little late this year putting mine out. Normally I have it out already, and I didn't want to put it back out until I had it right, so. This is like the slowest can of great stuff I've ever used. Give it one last shake here, see what we can get. And if you do get some that falls on the floor, just leave it there. It's a lot easier to scrape it off after it's dry than it is to try to wipe it up. You're just gonna make a big mess. You know, this is about the worst glue that you can get on you. That's about it for that can. We're gonna let that dry, see how much we get it to come up. And if we need to add more, we will, but for now, that's where we're at.